The penthouse door clicked shut behind me, and I collapsed against it, gasping. My skin was on fire. No. Not now. Please, not now. I pressed my trembling hands against my flushed cheeks, feeling the unmistakable heat spreading through my body like wildfire. After 24 years of successfully hiding what I was, my suppressants had finally betrayed me. Right here, in a guest suite, on the top floor of the most exclusive hotel in Seoul. I was going into heat. Who are you? I froze. The deep voice cut through the haze of panic clouding my mind. Through blurred vision, I saw him, tall, broad-shouldered, dressed in an expensive black suit that screamed danger. His sharp features were partially shadowed, but his eyes. God, his eyes were locked on me with an intensity that made my knees weak. I'm sorry, I stammered, trying to back toward the door. Wrong room. I'll just... Don't. He moved faster than I expected, closing the distance between us. Your scent. I watched his pupils dilate, his nostrils flaring as he inhaled. Horror washed over me. He knew. This stranger, this alpha, he knew exactly what I was. Please, I whispered, my body betraying me as another wave of heat crashed through my system. I need to leave. But I couldn't move. My legs wouldn't cooperate. The suppressants I'd been taking since puberty, the ones that cost me half my salary each month, had suddenly stopped working. And now I was trapped in a room with an alpha whose scent was making everything worse, or better, I couldn't tell anymore. You're in heat. His voice was strained, controlled. He was fighting himself, I realized. Fighting the biological imperative that nature had wired into every alpha. When did it start? 20 minutes ago. I worked downstairs. I just needed. What did I need? A quiet place to hide? To call Taemin? To disappear? I didn't know anyone was here. That was a lie. I'd chosen this room specifically because the guest had left for a dinner meeting. I'd watched him leave myself. But here he was, back earlier than expected, and I was about to pay the price for my desperation. What's your name? He stepped closer, and I should have been terrified. Everything about him screamed danger, from the tattoo peeking out from his collar to the way his associate outside the door was armed. I'd worked here long enough to recognize guests who belonged to Seoul's underground. Miho, I breathed, no longer able to think straight. Please, you have to let me go before. Before what? His hand cupped my face, surprisingly gentle. Before you collapse in the hallway where anyone could find you? Before some other alpha catches your scent and doesn't have the control I'm barely managing right now. He was right. I could feel my strength draining away, my body demanding something only an alpha could provide. This was why male omegas were so rare, so sought after, so dangerous to be. This was why I'd spent my entire adult life pretending to be a beta. I'm Jae-hyun, he said quietly, his thumb brushing across my cheekbone. And I'm going to ask you something. You can say no. I'll call a doctor, have my men clear the entire floor, and ensure you're safe until this passes. But Miho. His eyes darkened. If you say yes, I need you to understand, I don't think I'll ever be able to let you go. Something in his words should have terrified me. Should have sent me running despite my condition. But all I felt was an overwhelming pull toward this dangerous stranger. Help me, I whispered. Please. What happened next was a blur of desperate kisses and gentle hands. For someone who looked so dangerous, Jae-hyun touched me like I was made of glass. He kept asking if I was okay, if I wanted to stop, even as his own control visibly frayed. Never done this before, I admitted between gasps. Never let myself. I've got you. His voice was rough but tender. I'll take care of you. I promise. And he did. All night he did. When I woke, dawn light was streaming through the floor-to-ceiling windows. My body ached in unfamiliar ways, but the fever had broken. I was wrapped in silk sheets that probably cost more than my monthly rent. Jae-hyun was asleep beside me, one arm draped possessively across my waist even in sleep. In the morning light, I could see him clearly, the sharp jawline, the surprisingly soft expression on his face, the dangerous beauty of him. What have I done? Panic, cold and sharp, cut through the lingering haze. I didn't know this man. Didn't know what he'd expect from me now. Didn't know if I was safe or in more danger than ever before. Carefully, I slipped from beneath his arm and gathered my clothes. My hands shook as I dressed, my eyes constantly flicking back to his sleeping form. On the nightstand, his phone buzzed with messages. I caught a glimpse of words like shipment and territory that confirmed my worst fears about who he really was. I had to leave. Before he woke up and this fairy tale turned into a nightmare. The door closed silently behind me and I ran, from the penthouse, from the hotel, from the most dangerous and beautiful night of my life. I didn't know then that running was pointless. I didn't know that in 3 weeks, I'd be staring at a positive pregnancy test with trembling hands. And I definitely didn't know that the dangerous man I'd left sleeping in that penthouse suite had already decided I was his, and he would tear Seoul apart to find me. You need to leave Seoul. Tonight. Taemin's voice was sharp with panic as he paced my tiny apartment, running his hands through his hair for the 100th time. The positive pregnancy test sat on the coffee table between us like a bomb waiting to explode. I can't just leave, I said, though my voice shook. I need money, Taemin. Do you have any idea how expensive medical care is for this? I gestured at my still flat stomach. Male omega pregnancies were so rare that most hospitals weren't even equipped to handle them. The ones that were charged a fortune. Money won't matter if you're dead. Taemin grabbed my shoulders, his beta sense sharp with fear. Miho, you don't understand. I've been asking around carefully, very carefully. That man you were with? Jaehyun? He's not just connected to the underworld. He runs it. And word is he's been searching for someone. Obsessively. Violently. My blood ran cold. How violently? 3 of his competitors' establishments have been raided. He's questioning anyone who works in high-end hotels. His second-in-command, some terrifying guy named Seo Jun, has been showing your employee photo around. Taemin's eyes were desperate. It's only a matter of time. I pressed a hand to my stomach protectively. 3 weeks since that night, and I'd been taking double suppressants, avoiding the hotel's upper floors, praying I could save enough money before. Before what? Before he found me? Before I started showing? Before this pregnancy became impossible to hide? I'll be careful, I whispered. Just a few more weeks. I need at least. You don't have a few more weeks. But I did. I had to. So I kept working, kept smiling at guests, kept pretending my world wasn't falling apart. I picked up extra shifts, ignored Taemin's increasingly frantic calls, and tried not to think about dark eyes and gentle hands and a voice promising to take care of me. It happened on a Thursday evening. I was crossing the lobby, my mind on the doctor's appointment I'd finally scheduled for next week, when the air shifted. That same electric awareness from 3 weeks ago washed over me, making my steps falter. It can't be. I turned slowly and there he was. Jaehyun stood near the entrance with Seo Jun beside him, both wearing dark suits that screamed wealth and danger. He was speaking to the hotel manager, but his entire body was tense, alert, hunting. Then his head snapped toward me, and our eyes met across the crowded lobby. Time stopped. I saw recognition flash across his face, followed by something fierce and possessive that made my heart race. He took a step forward and I bolted. I ran through the service corridors, my employee access card getting me through doors guests couldn't follow. My heart hammered as I heard footsteps behind me, measured, unhurried, inevitable. Miho. His voice echoed down the hallway. Please. I just want to talk. I burst through the back exit into the employee parking lot, gasping for air. My car was parked at the far end. If I could just... Running won't help. I spun around. Jaehyun stood in the doorway, Seo Jun blocking the other exit. But Jaehyun, he looked different. Tired. Almost vulnerable. Dark circles shadowed his eyes, and his usually perfect appearance was slightly disheveled. 3 weeks, he said quietly, walking toward me slowly, like approaching a frightened animal. 3 weeks I've been losing my mind trying to find you. Do you have any idea? He stopped, his nostrils flaring. His eyes widened. Your scent. It's different. I backed away, but there was nowhere to go. Please. Just let me go. That night was a mistake. I didn't mean. A mistake. Something flickered in his eyes, hurt, quickly masked by steel. Is that what you think? What else could it be? We're strangers. You're you and I'm just... Mine. The word came out possessive, final. He was close enough now that I could feel the heat radiating from him. From the moment I caught your scent, you've been mine. And you know it, don't you? That's why you ran. You don't own me, I said, but my voice cracked. His hand reached out, gently cupping my face like he had that night. No, he agreed softly. But we own each other. That's how this works. His thumb brushed my cheekbone, and I saw his expression change. Soften. His eyes dropped to my stomach, then back to my face. Miho, are you? Terror must have shown on my face because sudden understanding crashed over his features. You're pregnant. It wasn't a question. His other hand moved to my stomach, hovering but not quite touching, trembling slightly. With my child. I don't expect anything, I said quickly, desperately. I won't tell anyone it's yours. I'll leave the city. You'll never have to. Stop. His voice was raw. Just stop. He pulled me against his chest, and I was too shocked to resist. His heart was racing as fast as mine. You're coming with me. Both of you. I'm going to protect you. I don't need protection. I need. The gunshot cracked through the air. Jae-hyun spun, covering me with his body as more shots rang out. Seo-jun was already returning fire, shouting into his phone. I saw 3 men across the parking lot, their guns trained on us. Get him out of here. Seo-jun yelled. Jae-hyun swept me into his arms, running toward an armored car that screeched into the lot. I heard him cursing, felt something warm on my arm, blood. Mine or his, I couldn't tell. Boss, you're hit. Seo-jun jumped into the driver's seat as Jae-hyun shoved me into the back, covering me with his body. Drive. Jae-hyun barked. And call Dr. Kim. Now. As the car peeled away, gunfire following us, I felt Jae-hyun's hand pressed protectively against my stomach and realized with terrifying clarity. Everything had just changed. Whether I wanted it or not, I was his now. I woke to unfamiliar silk sheets and the steady beep of medical equipment. My hand flew to my stomach immediately, panic surging through me. The baby is fine. A calm voice came from beside the bed. An older woman in a white coat smiled reassuringly. You're both fine. Just a graze on your arm from a bullet fragment. I've cleaned and bandaged it. I looked around wildly. This wasn't a hospital. The room was enormous, decorated in dark, expensive furniture that screamed wealth. Floor-to-ceiling windows revealed a sprawling estate surrounded by high walls and guards. Where am I? Jae-hyun's private residence. The doctor began packing her equipment. You need complete rest for the next few weeks. Male omega pregnancies are extremely delicate, especially in the first trimester. Any stress or injury could. I need to leave. That's not happening. Jae-hyun's voice came from the doorway. He looked exhausted, his shirt partially unbuttoned and stained with blood. My blood, I realized. Doctor, thank you. Please remain on call. As the doctor left, Jae-hyun approached slowly. His eyes swept over me, cataloging every visible inch as if checking for additional injuries. How do you feel? Like a prisoner. His jaw tightened. You were almost killed tonight. Those men were from the Park family, rivals who've been looking for leverage against me. Now they know about you. So this is my life now? I struggled to sit up despite the 4 in my arm. Locked in your mansion because you couldn't leave me alone? I'm keeping you alive. His control cracked slightly. Do you understand what happens to male omegas in this world? Especially pregnant ones? You'd be kidnapped, sold, or worse within days. That baby, our baby, makes you the most valuable target in Seoul. I was doing fine before you found me. Were you? He moved closer, his eyes fierce. Hiding in that apartment? Working yourself to exhaustion? Taking dangerous levels of suppressants that could have harmed the baby? His hand gestured to the medical chart. Dr. Kim says you're malnourished and anemic. When was the last time you had a proper meal? I looked away, shame heating my cheeks. I was managing. You were surviving. There's a difference. His voice softened. Let me take care of you. Both of you. Please. I don't need a jailer who thinks he's a savior. Something flashed in his eyes, hurt, quickly buried under ice. Fine. Stay in your room. Hate me. But you're not leaving until I know you're safe. He turned toward the door. Jae-hyun. He paused but didn't look back. Why do you even care? My voice cracked. We had one night. You don't know me. His shoulders tensed. When he finally turned, his expression was raw in a way I'd never seen. I was abandoned at 7 years old. Left in an alley like trash. I built everything I have from nothing, through blood and violence and decisions that cost me my humanity. He took a shaky breath. I never thought I deserved anything good. Never wanted a family because I didn't know how to be anything but a monster. He crossed the room, kneeling beside the bed so we were eye level. But then I caught your scent, and for the first time in my life, I felt human. And now there's a baby, my baby, and maybe, just maybe, I can be different. I can be better. His hand hovered over mine, not quite touching. Let me try. Please. Days blurred into weeks. I remained furious, refusing to speak to Jae-hyun beyond necessary exchanges. But I couldn't help noticing things. The prenatal vitamins that appeared on my breakfast tray. The pregnancy book stacked on the table, some dog-eared and annotated in his handwriting. The way he'd converted an entire room into a nursery, painting it himself at 2 a.m. because he didn't trust contractors. One night, I couldn't sleep and wandered the mansion. I found him in the nursery, assembling a crib while frowning at instruction manuals spread across the floor. You're doing it wrong, I said from the doorway. He jumped, nearly dropping a screwdriver. You should be resting. Can't sleep. I moved closer, examining his work. That piece goes there. We worked in silence, the tension between us shifting into something almost comfortable. When the crib was finally assembled, Jae-hyun stood back with a satisfied smile, boyish and unguarded. Thank you, he said quietly. It's for my baby too, I reminded him, but without heat. Our baby. His eyes met mine. I know you don't trust me yet, but I'm not going anywhere, Miho. Even if you hate me forever, I'll still protect you both. Something in my chest cracked. I saw him then, not the Mafia boss, but the abandoned little boy trying desperately not to fail at the one thing that mattered. I don't hate you, I admitted softly. Hope flickered across his face, so naked and vulnerable that I had to look away. Taemin managed to contact me through a burner phone. Seo-jun pretended not to notice. Miho, I can get you out. Just say the word. I looked around the room, at the pregnancy books, the carefully prepared meals, the man who read to my stomach when he thought I was asleep. I need more time, I whispered. That night, I found Jae-hyun on the terrace, staring at the city lights. I sat beside him, our shoulders almost touching. Tell me about you, I said. The real you. And he did. We talked until dawn, and I felt my walls crumbling with each shared story. Until I passed by Jae-hyun's office and heard Seo-jun's urgent voice. Boss, the Lee family knows about the Omega. They're planning something big. They want to use him to destroy you. We need to move him to a more secure location. Tonight. I pressed against the wall, my heart hammering. No. Jae-hyun's voice was steel. I won't uproot him again. We'll increase security here. That might not be enough, Seo-jun warned. I backed away silently, one hand on my growing stomach. The danger was real. And it was all because of me. I burst into Jae-hyun's office, not bothering to knock. He looked up from his desk, surprise flashing across his face before concern replaced it. I'm leaving. What? He stood abruptly. Miho. I heard Seo-jun. The Lee family is targeting you because of me. My voice was steadier than I felt. If I leave, you'll be safe. Everyone will be safe. Absolutely not. He rounded the desk, his expression darkening. We've been through this. People are going to die because of me. My hand pressed against my stomach. Our baby is making you vulnerable. I won't let that happen. Jae-hyun grabbed my shoulders, his eyes blazing. Listen to me. I've spent my entire life taking what I want through force and fear. But you, his voice cracked slightly, you and our baby are the first things I want to deserve. I'll burn this entire city down before I let anyone hurt you. That's exactly what I'm afraid of, I whispered. Before we could argue further, Seo-jun burst in, his face pale. Boss. They have Taemin. My world tilted. What? The Lee family grabbed him 2 hours ago. They're demanding an exchange. Seojun's jaw clenched. The Omega for his best friend. Tomorrow night, the old warehouse district. No. Jae-hyun's voice was absolute. We're not negotiating with. Yes. I stepped away from him. I'm going. Miho, you can't be serious. He's my best friend. Tears burned my eyes. He's been protecting me since we were kids. I won't let him die because of my choices. Jae-hyun looked like I'd stabbed him. So you'll sacrifice yourself? Our child. I'm not sacrificing anyone. You're going to come with me. I met his eyes. We'll plan this together. Use me as bait if you have to, but we save Taemin. That's non-negotiable. Something shifted in Jae-hyun's expression. Surprise, then understanding, then something that looked almost like pride. You're not asking permission. No, I'm not. A slow smile crossed his face, dangerous and beautiful. I've been trying to keep you in a cage because I thought protecting you meant hiding you away. He cupped my face gently. But that's not who you are, is it? You're not someone who needs to be locked up and kept safe. You're someone who fights. Is that a problem? No, he said softly. It's what I love about you. The words hung between us. He'd said it so casually, but the weight of it was enormous. Jae-hyun. We'll save your friend, he interrupted. Together. But you follow my lead when things get dangerous. Deal? I nodded, relief flooding through me. Deal. The warehouse was exactly the kind of place where bad things happened. Abandoned, dark, filled with shadows and the smell of rust and decay. I stood in the center of the empty space, my heart hammering as figures emerged from the darkness. 7 men, all armed. And in the middle, Taemin, beaten and bound, but alive. Miho, no! Taemin shouted. Get out of here. Such a touching reunion, the leader sneered. He was older, scarred, with dead eyes. The famous Omega who brought Jae-hyun to his knees. Let's see if you're worth all this trouble. Let him go first, I demanded, surprised by how steady my voice was. I don't think so. The leader gestured and 2 men grabbed me. I didn't resist, feeling the wire Seojun had hidden under my clothes. The tracker, the microphone. Jae-hyun was listening to everything. You know what's funny? The leader circled me. Jae-hyun thinks he's so powerful, but one little Omega completely destroyed his focus. He's been sloppy, distracted. You made him weak. No, I said clearly. I made him care about something other than power. That's not weakness. The leader backhanded me. Pain exploded across my face and I tasted blood. That's when all hell broke loose. The warehouse doors exploded inward. Jae-hyun emerged through the smoke like an avenging angel, Seojun and 20 armed men behind him. But what happened next surprised everyone. I wasn't helpless. Months of watching Seojun train his men, of learning the mansion's security systems, of listening to Jae-hyun's strategies, I'd absorbed more than anyone realized. When my captor loosened his grip in shock, I drove my elbow into his ribs like Seojun had shown me once, thinking I wasn't paying attention. I dropped and rolled as gunfire erupted, reaching Taemin and working at his bonds with shaking fingers. You learned to fight? Taemin gasped. Apparently. I got him free just as Jae-hyun reached us, his face a mixture of fury and terror and something like awe. Are you insane? He pulled me behind him protectively. Probably. I shouted over the chaos. But Taemin's free. Seojun and his men had the Lee family soldiers surrounded. The leader tried to run, but Jae-hyun was faster. I didn't watch what happened next. I was too busy checking Taemin for serious injuries. When the dust settled and the warehouse was secured, Jae-hyun turned to me. His clothes were torn, blood, not his, splattered across his face. He should have looked terrifying. Instead, he dropped to his knees in front of me. What are you? Stay with me. His voice was raw, vulnerable in a way I'd never heard. Not as my captive or my obligation, but as my partner. My equal. He took my hand, pressing it to his chest where his heart hammered. Let me love you the right way. Let me earn you every single day. Please. Tears streamed down my face. You're really asking? Not demanding. I'm begging, he said simply. Because you deserve the choice I never gave you. I pulled him up and kissed him, bloody, desperate, and perfect. Yes, I whispered against his lips. Yes. Taemin groaned from where Seo Jun was helping him stand. Finally. Do you know how exhausting it's been watching you two dance around this? Even Seo Jun cracked a smile. 6 months later, I held our son, tiny, perfect, with Jaehyun's dark eyes and my nose. Jaehyun sat beside us, his dangerous hands so gentle as he traced our baby's features. What are you thinking? He asked softly. I smiled. That night at the hotel, best mistake I ever made. Not a mistake. He kissed my forehead, then our son's. Destiny. And for the first time in my life, I believed in it.